Welcome everyone. My name is Liv. I'm gonna be your MC today. I think we all know why we're here. We're here to oppose this fascistic regime that has just come into power, that wants to destroy our communities, destroy our ways of life. And we're here to say that we are going to protect our communities, right? And we're going to do everything in our power to organize and defend our rights, our democratic rights, that the Democrats aren't willing to actually step up and fight a fascist who they said was fascist, but they're fucking doing nothing. Pardon my language. Oh yes, a peaceful transition, yeah. So this assembly is a thing that we've been doing for a while now. We have a Providence General Assembly. It's our attempt as community members to build a front that unites for that defense that we were just talking about. We want to unite anyone who wants to fight back. So if you know people at home, I know, there's maybe not as many as we expected to come out today. It's cold. The weather was bad earlier. But we are trying to build a movement that can include all political backgrounds that want to fight back. And we want to bring all our different community groups together. So today we have lovely speakers from our host, from the Matheson Street Church. That's where we have our assemblies. We'll be giving out posters later about our next few General Assembly meetings. We have speakers from Alliance Mobilizing Our Resistance. We're very thankful to have them here today to explain what they're going to be doing to defend our immigrant communities. Woo! We also have folks from Food Not Bombs who've been helping serve our unhoused folks and anyone who just needs a nice hot meal. As well as our speakers from the General Assembly. In our General Assembly, we have different working groups that help around things like anti-imperialism, free Palestine. We have folks who are involved in the labor movement, in the tenants' rights movement, in the student movement. And so we have a group called Class Struggle that's helping coordinate more actions around that. We have folks that are around here for community defense, from everything from trans rights to immigrant rights to women's rights and beyond. And lastly, what am I forgetting? We have mutual aid, our friends in mutual aid. We're only going to get through this together if we're able to actually help our neighbors and have our neighbors help us back. So from here, I'm going to give it off to Mike to talk more about the assembly.
Thank you. I'm actually going to speak in a few minutes. I'd like to bring up a speaker from Amor, Kata, some of you may know. She's going to speak to us about the good work that Amor is doing, how you could potentially get involved, and also maybe a little bit about the relationship that the PGA is building with Amor. We'll give it up for Kata.
Is it okay? I don't have knowledge on the time. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad to be here with people that is fighting for our community.
I'll hold it up for you. Keep the mic.
Okay, yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so happy to be here with everybody to organize yourself, inform yourself to fight for our community. I'm here on behalf of the Alliance to Mobilize Our Resistance, AMOR. AMOR organized to interrupt state violence and support people impacted by the inhumane immigration system. We do this through community organizing, advocacy, and creating safe, healing, accessible, and empowering community spaces. At the moment, we are increasing our capacity to protect and defend our community during this administration that treats the homes of immigrant families and the rights of our vulnerable communities, such as Black, Brown, immigrants, Indigenous people, LGBTQ, Muslims, and women. We know what to expect with this administration in office. We also know that there is power in our community and that we can count on each other to fight back and protect our people. We also reject ICE racist and inhumane practice against our community. ICE must cease operation in Rhode Island and throughout the United States, all of the state. Enough of separating our family. This policy is inhumane, cruel and unnecessary, traumatizing our family seeking refuge in U.S. We mobilize to show that our community means more than private profit for us.
Yeah.
As everybody know, everybody we want to do something, like what we can do to protect our community. I have some steps to do here. Action we can take as directly affected community members. If you know somebody, listen this. Now, know your current legal status. Go to a consultation with a lawyer. Prepare a family plan. Yeah. Prepare a family plan. Be connected to resources and organizations that can support us in case of an emergency. Be informed of changes that are happening at the local, state, and national levels. That's for people that is faced directly these issues. As a community member and organization, I know that we are here as allies or like organization working. Then we should focus in some stuff like we must resist as we have done so far and take care of each other, take care of our mental health and physical health. As government should not destabilize us. We must continue with our struggle. Second, we are aware of what is happening in our neighborhood and report it to whoever is may concern. Avoid spreading fear, disinformation, rumors in the community. We are aware of welfare of our neighbors. Continue to educate ourselves, inform ourselves, and connect with organizations that are supporting our community affected by inhuman laws and practices of the state. It's essential to continue to organize us intentionally to make our community strong to fight back. Continue to work on our long-term community advocacy, campaigns, projects. Since the administration and any other will never be working for our well-being, it's up to us to take action to make the change we want to live and inherit to our generation. For more information about what Amor is doing, please go to our social media or website. You can find us online as Amor Network. Then, yeah, I can stay here and say all of the project, but be there and we will post things that you can connect with or information that you can plug in. For now, I'm going to say something in Spanish. Aquí estamos y no nos vamos. Y si nos echan, nos regresamos. Aquí estamos y no nos vamos. Y si nos echan, nos regresamos. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Keep family together and each other. Take care.
All right, next we're going to hear from our friends from Food Not Bombs.
Hi everyone. So I'm here representing Food Not Bombs. Food Not Bombs is an autonomous mutual aid organization providing free food, hygiene, and harm reduction supplies along with other things as needed to people in need in the community. We source, prepare, and distribute everything ourselves, and we usually always have an abundance of things to give out to everyone who needs them. We're constantly sourcing and acquiring more, but we're really proud to say that we're able to meet a lot of immediate needs of people in the community because of everyone coming together and sharing what we already have.
Can you hold the mic closer? I can't hear you too good, please.
Like this?
Yeah, that's a little better, yeah.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you. Thank you so much. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem, thanks. So basically, what mutual aid shows is that what we have throughout capitalist society is a problem of inequity, not scarcity. Never let anyone tell you that we don't have enough of anything for everyone. That is not true. Food Not Bombs is direct action against capitalism and imperialism by distributing resources back where they belong, which is with all of us here in Providence, not dropping bombs on Gaza on behalf of another country for their genocide. So if any of that speaks to you, if you want to get involved, please join us. We're always looking for more volunteers, and there are many, many ways to get involved that I don't have time to go into. But really the best way to join us is to show up at one of our serves. We do 2 weekly serves. One of them is on Thursdays, and it runs from 9:30 to 11 a.m. That is a smaller breakfast, coffee, pastries type of serve. And then we also have on Sunday, our bigger serve is a lunch serve, which is from 2 to 4 in the afternoon. Both of those serves take place right down there, right between Burnside and KP along that street. So if you just show up and talk to us and say that you're here to volunteer, get involved, what can you do? All of us will be more than happy to integrate you into our wonderful community. And we really hope that we'll see new faces keep showing up. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Charlotte. So next up, now we're going to have Mike speak more about the PGA and other ways that you can get involved.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I want to give you a sense of who called for this march, what the PGA is, what we're doing, how you can get involved. My name is Mike. I'm with the Providence General Assembly. And we called for this march because we know that ourselves and our neighbors are under attack, that immigrants, trans folks, the unhoused are all being criminalized and attacked by Trump and the resurgent white supremacist and Christian nationalist movements. Are we gonna let that happen? No, fuck no. Are we going to just let Trump's ICE raids terrorize immigrant communities in our city? Are we gonna let Christian nationalists criminalize transgender people? No. Do we have an obligation to stop these things? Please. Are we going to do that alone on our computers? Are the Democrats going to be effective at stopping Trump? Are the small political groups that we belong to or the cash-strapped nonprofits going to be able to do this by themselves? No. So what are we going to do? Yes. So this is the question several dozens of us started asking back in October. We decided to form a General Assembly, an open, democratic political space that meets regularly to deal with these threats, to defend our communities, to mobilize and strengthen our resolve, and to build a better world. The PGA is not an organization in a traditional sense. We have points of unity, we have a mission, but we have no singular collective political line. This is not a political party or a group that's beholden to one. There are Marxists, there are anarchists, there are progressives, there are people who don't associate with a political label. Our first meeting was in late November of last year. Since then, over 200 people have attended our meetings, with the meeting sizes ranging from about 50 to 150 people. We welcome and encourage you to come to our next meeting, which is February 15th. It's February 15th, that's 2 weeks from today, and we meet at Mathewson Street Church at noontime. Okay. So there are people oriented towards working place organizing, or workplace organizing, people who engage with tenant struggles. There's people working on helping unhoused people survive the winter. There's people opposed to war and US imperialism. There's people oriented towards defending undocumented people. And there's also efforts to provide effective trans defense in the city. So we do this across political ideologies, individuals and political groups cooperating with each other to do something more, rather than fighting with each other about what we can't get done. We don't do this to get someone elected. We don't do this for grants. We don't do this for people to make a name for themselves. We see the fucked up things going on in this world. We want to see them change, and we're doing our best to help make those changes ourselves, together.
So a little bit of context for the older people in the room. So some of you might remember the 2016 election and the responses that happened in the city. So there was a meeting, Hope High School, there was several hundred people there, was like 1,000 people there. Was anybody there at that meeting? Yeah. About a week later, there was a meeting at the IWW Hall, Industrial Workers of the World. It was about 115 people, probably closer to my personal politics, but with a similar mindset and relatively similar goals. So nothing came out of either of those meetings, right? There was no organization that got formed. There was no action. A month later, the meeting might as well not happened, right? And so a lot of us who formed this organization we're kind of looking at that past history, seeing what we didn't do right, and also trying to figure out a way to do things better today, because it's a necessity for sure. So I'm not going to get into the weeds on the structure of the PGA. It's not that complicated, but it's pretty boring to get into. So we have 5 working groups. So, I mean, what's important is the work, right? And also the leadership is the work, right? Like I'm up here on the mic, Liv's facilitating things today. We're not the leaders of this organization. It's not that type of thing. And so we have 5 working groups. We have a class struggle group that's addressing housing and workplace issues. There's a mutual aid group that has been helping feed people and provide heaters to people living on the street. There's an anti-imperialist group that has a large number of people that have been doing Palestinian solidarity over the last couple of years, year and a half. The community defense group has been getting prepared and situated to help stand in solidarity with immigrants under attack. We have groups oriented towards ensuring the safety of our GA, as well as the safety of this unpermitted march that we're going to go on a little bit. There's also a coordination group that makes sure all the meetings take place. We have a meeting space, an agenda, facilitator, and we're also in the process of formalizing an unhoused solidarity group. So these working groups meet separately from the PGA, usually in between PGA meetings. They report back to the PGA every single meeting. Major decisions are made by that PGA body, and the work gets done kind of independently from the PGA, or from those formal meetings, it is. All right, so why do we organize this way? We believe in the need to build our power at the community level, to build it independent of existing structures that don't serve our interests. The constant threats of violence and persecution we hear day in and day out call us to be prepared, to look out for our communities, to check in with our neighbors, to come together to say no to this bullshit, and to be in an organized position to actually back that up, to back each other up. Solidarity means class war. It means evictions that don't get carried out. Solidarity means mutual aid. It means stopping ICE raids. Solidarity means no more people freezing to death on this street. Solidarity means no more police raids in this park. That solidarity isn't possible without connection, without organization, without collective commitment. This is why we're here trying to build. This is what the Providence General Assembly is about, in my mind. This is the purpose of this gathering. I'm not here to tell you what's wrong with Trump, or to tell you that my political group has the best line, even if it does. We're here to ask you what you want to do, what you think needs to be done. We're here to tell you what we are doing and ask for your help in doing it bigger and doing it better. We need each other. The PGA needs you. I'm glad you're all here. Next, you're going to hear from some of the people who are doing the work and how you can get involved. Thank you.
All right, so we did have one speaker who had not show up, and unfortunately, it's because they're doing constant work to help our unhoused community over at Mathewson. So earlier, we were expecting to have Kevin Simon from the church, and so because we have a space here open, I'm going to be bringing up Daisy from the George Wiley Center to talk about their campaign that's happening soon to try to get these utility prices down because they're way too high.
Hi, thank you for allowing us to join here for a little bit. I want to say, before I read a little bit about utilities, I just want to say, if you're not involved with the GA and it's your first time maybe hearing about the GA, I want to really encourage you to get involved. I personally got involved because my family is directly impacted. Some of you may know the story, some of you may not. And it's, not the most important one. It's just an example of what the system has done to us. Back in 2018, my father was incarcerated by ICE, and if it weren't for many of the beautiful faces that I see here today, a lot of you supported us. I wouldn't have been able to, go past that or overcome that. It's something that we live on a day-to-day. It's a fear that we live with, and unfortunately, it came back under, the second time of Trump being up there. But it's something that has always existed, racism, discrimination, marginalization of our communities, as you all know. It's just that right now it's a little more relevant because it's everywhere in the news. But it's a time to take action. It's a time to get involved. That's how we have to see that crisis. A time to, build movements, continue on, joining the ones that exist, and maybe even building your own and asking for the GA support. But really, like, many said earlier, we shouldn't see each other, as different groups, but rather as one community, one need, and all of our issues are interlocked. So thank you so much for being here. Please get involved in any way that you can. I know that we're only one person, but we can try our best to be, at different places instead of sitting home and maybe watching Netflix, which is something I speak for myself. Sometimes, I close myself up in my little safe space, and I don't want to go out there due to fear, due to stress, due to anxiety. I have PTSD, I have depression. So it's easy for myself, to just lock myself within my four walls. But we have to try our best to be out here. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. All of our issues are interlocked, and I just want to say that just like this assembly is an exercise of people's democracy, we are also having with the George Wiley Center People's Utility Summit to focus on housing security and energy justice. We believe that everybody should have access to a warm, safe place to live and cooling during the summertime, like it was mentioned before. We know that with climate change, things are getting, even more dangerous. And just last week, a friend of us from the George Wiley Center unfortunately died on North Main Street at a bus stop trying to keep warm while waiting for the bus. And that's unfortunate. It shouldn't happen. These are things that shouldn't happen. I think Charlotte was mentioning earlier, don't let anybody, just quoting what you said, don't let anybody tell you that there's not enough of something, because there is. The system has enough money. They're just including housing, including food. So it's just they don't want to distribute equitably to the community, and we're not going to let them get what they want. We have to fight for what we know is right, and it is our actions together that will allow us to also win a percentage of income payment plan, which is a proposed legislation up at the State House that we're hoping to pass with your help. And we're having this People's Utility Summit to highlight how the legislation that we have proposed is not being voted year after year. Unfortunately, it keeps getting ignored. And we must confront the corporate forces that buy influence at the State House and stop bills like PIP from passing. And it is only through our combined actions that we can create a truly democratic power to make elected legislators listen to us. So we're having the People's Utility Summit on Tuesday, February 11 at 3 p.m. If you all can come, that would be great, in room 135 at the State House. And again, it's to educate those who currently have power over important decisions that keep us facing housing and energy insecurity. We are hosting policy experts from Pennsylvania and Massachusetts to educate legislators in Rhode Island and the public about how our efforts are supported by them. But our work is not only supported by national energy policy experts, but also by the direct experience of our members. So we have to stand together. against what the Division of Public Utilities and Rhode Island Energy want to continue, which allow them to shut off people right now after 21 days, people that are medically vulnerable. That's another one of the legislations. And we don't think that it makes sense to allow people struggling with health issues to get shut off after 21 days. We want to also make that stronger. So those are two of the important legislations that we're working on. But of course, like we mentioned, everything is interlocked. If you are a low-income person and you don't have food, then you most likely can't pay utilities. If you can't pay utilities, you can't pay your rent. What happens after? We all know. You become homeless. And if you are an immigrant too, that is also another big, big barrier in your life. You know, you're not able to get a job that is, you know, enough to pay the bills. You have to work extra hours. You have to do a lot to survive, and, you know, you have to go más allá. So thank you so much for allowing us to speak, and I'll pass it back to the GA.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we're not going to keep you out here not marching for too much longer. We've definitely grown. That's great to see. So give a round of applause to yourselves, I guess. Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. So next up, we're going to talk about some of this autonomous organizing that we're doing. The first person is going to be up from our class struggle working group. Come on up.
Remix. Okay, no. Hi, everyone. I'm Johnny. I'm with the Providence Organization of Workers and Renters and the Class Struggle Working Group. I just wanted to start off with something. I won't poll who's from Providence or who's from Rhode Island, but who has a family member or a friend that's a politician at some point in their life? Or knows someone who is? All right. This is part of my theory of what's wrong with organizing in Providence or Rhode Island. Everyone's second cousin, half brother has been a politician at some time. So we think that we can just ask them to do things, or we can say it better, or convince them. But what the height of the pandemic showed, when we were doing tenant organizing, we thought, all right, they might do an eviction freeze just because they have to, because people are going to be out in the streets, they're not going to be able to do anything. Did they? No. It was a very short, or they'll like freeze the rents. Did they freeze the rents? No. So what that showed me, which I'd known for a while, I've been in the game a while, but I think we all know, is that they will not do anything. The people in power, the people that own things, the people that make the decisions at City Hall, unless we force them to do it. And how do we force them to do it? Who owns the restaurants? The restaurant owners. Do they make any money if the restaurant workers don't produce the food? If they don't bring them to the table? No. Do landlords collect rent if we don't pay it? No. Do universities get their billion-dollar endowments unless students produce knowledge, teachers produce knowledge, that produce workers that go on and do things? Do they make any money? No. So we have to be organizing at those points of production. Production of knowledge, production of housing, production of work, of labor, of reproduction, production. And we have to be organizing tenant unions, worker unions, student unions, unions of the unhoused. So at the Class Struggle Working Group, what we're doing is trying to create a space where those people doing that organizing can coordinate their work. We've been separate for too long. Secondly, we're trying to create new organizing. So one of the things that we've done is an organizer trainings from those of us who've been organizing for a long time, to offer our skills of how to talk to your neighbors, how to talk to your coworkers, and kind of bring that on and form new organizations, form organizations within your own organizations. Like, who's here is pro-union? Yeah, go unions. Who thinks that unions are too much in the pockets of business owners? Yes. So we can be pro-union, but we have to be organizing within our unions to make them class struggle unions. We have to be organizing within our teachers unions and all those things. All right, so I'll keep it short. I'm cold. I'm a restaurant worker myself, so I'm speaking from experience. And so if you're interested in Class Struggle Group, you can come up and say hi to me. I'll be at the next General Assembly, and let's bring the system down.
Thank you, Johnny. Up next, we're going to have Jason from Community Defense.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm cold. Feel free to jump around and shake it out as you need to. Chicken wing if you must. I'm gonna keep it short too. I want to introduce what community defense is and what we're working on today. We're a large, diverse group of people from different places with the same interest, keeping us safe.
Put the mic up to your face.
We are that's much better, right? We're a diverse group of people with different places where we live with the same interest to keep us safe. There are many ways to do it, and we come together as equals to talk and organize around issues that are affecting us today, like immigrant solidarity, LGBTQ rights, reproductive justice, and unhoused support. We strive to create an internal space that allows people to contribute what they are able to, as long as they are able to, in a fair and friendly space. As for our report back for today, we've been working on Know Your Rights resources for wide distribution. These are rights that exist no matter what your status is in this country. Everybody should know them. The clowns running this regime of federal oppression call these educational materials on your rights an obstacle to their goal of deporting 30,000 migrants to Guantanamo Bay. It sounds like Know Your Rights stuff is worth knowing. What is Know Your Rights specifically? It's training that includes information like your Fourth Amendment right to privacy. It allows you certain protections in private, not public locations. For example, if ICE knocks on your door, you can leave them in the rain. We'll tell you how to tell a judicial and administrative warrant apart from one another so that you don't get duped by lying cops. If you ever served a warrant, look for the judge's signature. That's a quick and easy way to tell what it is. We're educating ourselves on how other humanitarian groups and efforts are navigating these issues in the past and how they're doing so currently. We're making connections with organizations that protect, honor, and support the victims of state harm. And we want to weave ourselves with all the communities doing this concrete work into a resilient and capable united front. Defense takes many forms, and we're talking about strategies on how to notify the community of traumatic events as quickly, safely, and accurately as possible. The tools we carry every day, like the camera and pen, are versatile instruments, and we ask that lawyers who want to act with their heart and compassion reach out to us so that we can help facilitate the services to people who need them. We have also recently decided on a suitable process for bringing in new people so that we can onboard volunteers and create mass work to protect ourselves. So if you're passionate about protecting your community from harm, from fascism, we'd like to talk to you. And thank you very much for coming out.
All right, we only have two more speakers, and then we're going to get marching. Up next is Anne from our anti-imperialist group.
From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
Thank you. I'm from the Anti-Imperialist Working Group, and we are currently focused on the events that have been unfolding in Gaza and Palestine for the last 15 months. As a working group, we recognize that an anti-imperialism focus includes more than the genocide of the Palestinian people, but includes a global focus on anywhere colonial violence befalls indigenous people, such as Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Haiti, and yes, the indigenous people who have lived for centuries on North American soil. This working group is currently focused on building a grassroots BDS movement in Providence to boycott, divest, and sanction city funds that are held in Israel wealth in the form of bonds. A grassroots BDS org will be similar in structure and tactics to the BDS Boston, and we will aim to support Palestinian liberation through divestment campaigns, direct actions, and other forms. For 20 years, the city of Providence has repeatedly invested millions of dollars in Israeli bonds. Its latest investment of $2 million expired at the beginning of 2023 and has not been reinvested. The city also currently holds about $10,000 in Israeli bonds as part of an index bond fund. You might be wondering why push the divestment in Providence's if Providence's investment has already expired. Providence has had 2 decades history of continually investing in these bonds and could reinvest at any time. Israel continues to reach out to state and municipal governments marketing their bonds, especially since the start of the current genocide in Gaza. Providence City investments are managed by an unelected committee with no accountability to the people of Providence, and the push to fully divest Providence from Israeli bonds means ensuring that our city funds are not used to facilitate violence in all its forms, including genocide on the Palestinian people. Our current action is to meet with Boston BDS folks to learn their structure, their methods, their actions, and how, here in Providence, we can adopt and adapt their strategies. We will be on an initial morning call tomorrow to meet with Boston BDS reps to learn how to build from the ground up a campaign that is dedicated to financially withdrawing from wealth that is systematically used to ethnically cleanse and erase the indigenous people of Palestine. Furthermore, the BDS Providence org will focus on solidarity with Palestinian liberation struggle in all forms through a variety of campaigns and actions. Separately, we are hoping to connect with Irish movements for the St. Patrick's Day Parade and demonstrate solidarity and unity under the shared struggle for liberation and ending occupation. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thank you. See me if you'd like more info.
All right, folks. We just have one more to go, and then I'll be just letting people know about what's going to go going forward. So up next is Kate from Mutual Aid. Where are you, Kate? I'll see you soon. There we go. Thank you, Kate.
Hey, I'm Kate. I'm with a mutual aid working group. One of the reasons to do mutual aid is to depend less on the systems that hurt us. And so some of the ways this group is doing that so far, huge support for the emergency warming efforts with their presents, rides, and supplies, learning to make some herbal medicines and distributing those to people in need, doing what's called somatic skill shares, where we practice feeling what we're feeling without being screwed up by it. A good skill, I think, for everybody in this time. We can help you do that. We've got a builders club that's gathering skills and materials for repair work and growing food. We're kind of scheming about a food co-op and distribution network to keep people who are facing hunger from having to bear that burden. Also, if you're hearing any of those things that I said today and you're like, I can't do that, there's no room in my life for that time, for that effort, for this, ask for support to find some time and effort or just to get a break. That is also mutual aid, and that is what we're doing for people in our group as well. We're sharing resources within the group, we're backing each other up, we're picking up slack for each other, and that is also mutual aid. That's work that you can do even if you don't want to build a whole radio tower, which we're also doing, which is also very cool. If you're interested in this, we have like 100 people interested in working on it with you. I have some little zines in my bag for how to host someone if they're trying to get to someplace safer. Please join us. We love you. Thanks for being here.
All right, friends. What is it? All right, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be getting going in about 10 minutes. So we're gonna be taking the streets, just so everyone's aware, this is gonna be an unpermitted march. So if for any safety reasons you are worried or anything like that, you can dip out. You can also hang around. Eventually we're gonna end up probably back around this place or in Kennedy Plaza. We're gonna be doing a speak out where anyone can speak, because a big thing about the PGA is we're trying to really be a participatory movement. And we really want to hear from all of y'all, because a lot of times you come to these protests and you hear from people up here that have been doing stuff for a while, but we want to hear from you. And so really anyone who wants to speak, there's going to be time at the end of the march to have people speak, at least for about a half an hour or so. So you'll just be able to come right up to me and we'll get you on a speakers list, and we'll just have people speak for a few minutes each, So, but we want to make sure that, we start having a culture here that we actually hear from the people themselves, not just, the leaders or whatever of the people. So, Yeah, so we're just gonna play some music for a while. You can socialize, talk to people, talk to your friends, and then we're gonna get going. We have some banners and things like that, and we'll get started and set it up. And yeah, let's march, and it's gonna be a good time.